You look up at a massive stone structure. No cranes, no trucks, no machines of any kind. Just blocks bigger than your body, stacked higher than any building you've ever seen. Your brain does something automatic in this moment. It searches for an explanation. And for most of human history, one explanation kept winning. Someone else must have done this. Someone bigger. Someone from somewhere else. For thousands of years, across cultures that never met each other, humans looked at their own greatest achievements and handed the credit to beings from the sky. Not because they were foolish, because of how your brain is built. Let's go back to one of the oldest examples we can actually dig up. Around 11,600 years ago, in what is now southeastern Turkey, ancient humans built something that shouldn't have existed yet. Massive carved stone pillars, arranged in circles, some weighing over 10 tons. This is Göbekli Tepe. Archaeologist Klaus Schmidt spent years excavating this site, and what he found rewrote the timeline of civilization. This wasn't built by farmers. It was built by hunter-gatherers, people with no writing, no metal tools, no wheels. And yet they moved and carved stone on a scale we associate with much later societies. Here's the question that should stop you. If hunter-gatherers built this with nothing but time, cooperation, and stone tools, why does it feel impossible? That feeling is the whole point. Your brain did not evolve to calculate engineering. It evolved to survive. And survival meant one thing above all else: detecting agency. A rustle in the grass. A shadow that moves wrong. Your ancestors, who assumed something intentional was behind every strange event, were more likely to live. The ones who assumed it was nothing didn't always get a second chance. Psychologist Justin Barrett studies this exact wiring. He calls it the Hyperactive Agency Detection device, or HAD. Your mind is tuned to see intention, even when there isn't any. A face in the clouds. A god in the thunder. A builder from beyond, behind a monument too large to explain. This wiring didn't switch off once humans started building cities. Fast forward thousands of years to Giza. 3 pyramids, aligned with a precision that still impresses engineers today, built from stone blocks weighing several tons each. For centuries, the explanation that traveled fastest and farthest was not the true one. It was the exciting one. Beings from the sky. Advanced visitors. Anything except ordinary people doing extraordinary, coordinated work. But archaeologist Mark Lehner didn't just study the pyramids. He excavated the town beside them. Bakeries, breweries, worker housing. Medical evidence of healed broken bones, meaning injured laborers were cared for, not discarded. This wasn't the work of gods or aliens. It was the work of a highly organized labor force, fed, housed, and managed with a level of planning that, once you see it, is arguably more impressive than any myth. So why did the myth win for so long? Because your brain doesn't just detect agency. It craves a story big enough to match the scale of what it's looking at. A small group of ordinary people, over decades, moving stone by stone? That's slow. That's boring. That doesn't feel proportional to the size of the pyramid in front of you. A god, or a visitor from another world? That matches the scale instantly. Cognitive scientists call this proportionality bias. Big effects demand big causes, at least according to how your brain wants the story to feel, not how it actually happened. Now picture yourself standing where your ancestors stood, at the base of one of these structures, centuries before science, satellites, or radiocarbon dating existed. You have no way to verify how it was built. You only have your eyes, your fear, and your need for an explanation you can tell your children. Which story survives the retelling? The slow, technical one about ramps and rope and organized shifts of laborers? Or the electric one, about beings descending from the sky to hand humanity its greatest achievements? The electric one always spreads faster. It always has. This is where the twist comes in, and it's the part almost nobody expects. The instinct to credit outside forces for human achievement isn't a flaw that belongs only to the ancient world. It's still running in you right now. Anthropologist Peter Worsley documented this same pattern happening in the 20th century, in what became known as cargo cults across parts of the Pacific. Communities encountering advanced technology for the first time, planes, radios, cargo they'd never seen built by outsiders, developed elaborate belief systems around where that technology came from and who controlled it. Different century, different continent, same wiring. Humans encountering something beyond their frame of reference reach for the same explanation your ancestors reached for at Göbekli Tepe and at Giza. You do this too. Not with pyramids, but with anything that looks too advanced to have a mundane explanation. A piece of technology that feels like magic. A skill someone has that looks impossible. Your first instinct isn't always they practiced this for years. Sometimes it's closer to, there's something else going on here. That gap between what your eyes see and what your brain is willing to accept as ordinary human effort is exactly the gap ancient astronaut theories have always lived in. And here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. The truth, once you actually dig into it, at Göbekli Tepe, at Giza, at nearly every impossible ancient structure archaeologists have studied in detail, is not less impressive than the myth. It's more impressive. It means people with none of your tools, none of your machines, none of your shortcuts, organized themselves well enough, planned far enough ahead, and worked together long enough to build something that still stands thousands of years later. No outside help required. Just human beings and the same brain you're using right now to follow this story. So the next time you see something that looks too advanced, too precise, too impossible to have been built by ordinary people, notice what your mind does first. Notice the pull toward the bigger story, the outside force, the sky being explanation. That pull isn't evidence of ancient visitors. It's evidence of exactly how human and exactly how ancient your own brain still is. You looked up at a massive stone structure, and your brain searched for someone bigger to give the credit to. It's still searching. The only difference now is you know why.